Before I met Jenny, my life in dating looked nothing like it does now. After my breakup, my friends kept telling me, download Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, just try it. What's the worst that could happen? At first, I believed them. I thought maybe technology could give me a second chance at love. I created a profile, swiped through faces, matched with strangers, and even went on a few dates. But instead of the butterflies people talk about, instead of excitement building in my chest, all I felt was exhaustion. The more I tried, the heavier it became. Dating apps didn't feel like hope anymore. They felt like another reminder of how disconnected I was. Dating apps promised connection, but for me, they became a toxic cycle that fed on my energy. Logging in no longer felt like looking for love. It felt like clocking into a second job. Every photo I chose, every bio I edited, every line I typed, it all felt like a performance. I wasn't showing myself. I was showing what I thought would get picked. And then came the endless swiping. I swiped in the morning. I swiped at night. I swiped on the train, at lunch, in bed before falling asleep. Sometimes hours disappeared while I stared at faces flashing across my screen. Swipe, swipe, swipe. It wasn't excitement anymore, it was habit. A reflex. And every time I hoped the next swipe would be the one that changed everything. But the truth is, it never did. What I collected wasn't connection, it was disappointment. Matches that disappeared without a word. Conversations that ended after 2 sentences. Plans that never became real. And deep down, I knew I was wasting my time. But I kept swiping because I was afraid of missing out. Afraid that if I stopped, I might miss the one person who could change it all. The irony is that while I was afraid of missing out on someone, what I was really missing out on was life itself, the moments happening outside the screen, the time I could have given to myself or to people who already cared about me. Dating apps, instead of fueling my hope, turned into a full-time job. And the only paycheck I received was frustration and emptiness. The longer I stayed in that cycle, the more I saw the scars it left on me. Ghosting became so common that it almost felt inevitable. I would talk to someone, laugh, feel like we had momentum, and then nothing. Silence. No goodbye, no explanation. Just gone. Each time it happened, I questioned myself. Was I not enough? Did I say something wrong, or was I simply never going to be enough for anyone? And the comparisons were endless. Scrolling through perfectly curated profiles made me feel like I was competing in a market where I could never win. Everyone seemed more attractive, more interesting, more desirable. I started doubting not just how I looked, but who I was. The conversations that did continue felt shallow, like scripts we all had memorized. What kind of music do you like? Do you have pets? What do you do for fun? Over and over, the same small talk. It felt less like meeting a person and more like filling out a survey. And then came the disappointments. I'd convinced myself that maybe this one would be different. Maybe this match was going to turn into something real. But time after time, that hope collapsed. Every collapse left me heavier, more guarded. I started building walls around my heart just to survive the cycle of letdowns. Eventually, the burnout became impossible to ignore. I noticed I wasn't even swiping with hope anymore. I was just swiping because I didn't know how not to. And that's when I realized I had already given up long before I admitted it. So I pulled back. I stopped swiping. I stopped chatting. I stopped going on dates. Not because I didn't want love, but because I needed peace. For the first time, I chose to protect myself instead of chasing something that kept breaking me. At first, it felt like failure. I thought stepping back meant I was too weak, too broken to keep trying. But slowly, I realized it was something else entirely. Pausing wasn't weakness, it was clarity. It was the recognition that continuing would only drain me further, and that the healthiest thing I could do was step away. Sometimes the bravest thing isn't to push harder. It's to admit, this isn't working. This is hurting me. I need to stop. In the end, asking myself whether it was worth it gave me the clearest answer I'd had in years. No, it wasn't worth it. The energy, the effort, the constant vulnerability, it wasn't giving anything back. But strangely realizing that didn't crush me. It set me free. I understood that wanting something real wasn't the problem. The problem was trying to find it in a place that often feels shallow and toxic. Dating burnout is real, and stepping back isn't about giving up hope. It's about protecting your heart until you're ready to open it again. And here's the truth: when I finally stopped, when I gave myself time to heal, something shifted inside me. I stopped auditioning. I stopped performing. I started rebuilding myself. And it was only then, in that space of clarity, that I became ready for something genuine. That readiness is what allowed me to see Jenny when she came into my life. But that is another story. For now, if you've been where I've been, I want you to know you're not alone. If you feel burned out, it's okay to pause. It's okay to protect your peace. And it's okay to wait until dating feels like something you want to do, not something you have to survive.